Hello and welcome to the Madecast, the official podcast of the Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment. A series of lectures on video game history is part of the Made's ongoing effort to preserve history through teaching and displaying playable exhibits of rare games and consoles.
While life in a time of COVID has forced us to close our doors, the support of people like you has allowed us to continue to bring history to you through lectures and interviews, like the one you'll hear in a few minutes. I'm Anthony.
I'm Miles.
I'm Chin.
And I'm Red. Today, we welcome back the JustUs League Unlimited for another episode of Chit Chat amongst your hosts here. We're going to be having a in-depth discussion about Valve's new announcement of the Switch Pro, as well as other handheld peripherals and just general hand-holding in this episode. So, welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Madecast. This is going to be a big announcement from Valve, and they can't seem to really nail down what they were announcing, because even an interview with one of their designers was saying, it's like, you don't even really need to think of it as a console. It's more of just a PC with a controller built in. So that's a great, strong sales voice for something that they're hoping will sell a lot of.
Well, no, I mean, I think that's a fair point. People on the internet, I say in quotation marks, are comparing this to the Switch or to the PlayStation Portable or the Vita or whatever. It's not that. It is just a computer that has controllers built in. So we need to think of it not as a game console, but as the PC gaming, the portable PC gaming thing. Yeah. And there have been attempts at that before, and they've also been kind of unsuccessful. But I think what the Steam Deck has on them is the price point. And yeah, it seems high, but if you compare it to portable PCs, it's actually pretty low.
Yeah, it's fairly low as far as PCs go, and the performance in the machine is pretty incredible too. I mean, specs wise, it has 16 gigs of RAM in this little handheld. It has a AMD Zen 2 4-core processor. It's the base version has 64 gigs of internal storage, but then there's upgradable versions of 256 and 512. It does still have a 3.5 millimeter audio jack, so there is that. You can. That's a big standing point for me. That's probably exactly the only reason why I'm going to buy this is because it still has a headphone jack. Moving away from those has been rough. But
I heard people talking about they're paying money or they're encouraging the game developers to work on something just for this the deck too. So we'll see. I think the part of the reason why Nintendo Switch and the PSP will have a great success is because of the games, not just about the specs. So I think that would be a main issue to look for.
True, but like it said, it's a PC, so you can download anything from Steam. They even mentioned it's if you want to download another store, go ahead. If you want to uninstall Steam OS and install Windows, go ahead. They're like we put the stuff that has base and you can use it, but you can do whatever you want with it, which I still think is pretty cool because it's a Linux, but it's like a Linux version of Steam OS, but you can still install Windows on it because of the way it's operating. It's the Android of handhelds. It's do what you want. Just figure it out. But it's I like the idea a lot. The one thing, ergonomically speaking, I don't like how they kind of made the touch pads. So it has two joysticks on the inner part of the top section of the screen where you hold it. And then it has a D-pad to the right and A, B, X, Y buttons. It has a D-pad to the left of one joystick and other buttons to the right. I wish buttons would still be more centric, even though they do have touchpads like the Steam controller. As far as gaming goes, I just like the tactile feedback of buttons. It provides a lot more connection, whereas like a touchpad is still just kind of you feel like you're guessing. It's not like you're executing exactly, but it's still very good. I think that this is a great move to go into the future. I also think that other consoles could also have success with, like, in a couple years, with also having handheld peripherals for their systems. Whether they will go that route, I am unsure, but PlayStation had a lot of success with the Vita and the PSP, even though now they're discontinuing support for it. I think those systems were just a bit too early and a little bit ambitious for the technology at the time to achieve what they were trying to achieve.
I mean, I think part of the deal is that they came out against Nintendo, which has always sort of just dominated the handheld market, the portable market.
True.
But nowadays, the portable market is phones.
Yeah, the portable market is phones, and and the thing about that the Switch has in it is that it is a built-in portable machine as well as the main console. So I think that is. I really thought that was amazing and unique, and I still think it is. They did such an amazing job executing it, and the ease of use of literally just plugging it in and then it's running up on your TV is pretty awesome. I do think that PlayStation and Xbox would benefit from having some sort of portable peripheral to compete with that if they can get it down. So, and like the always on connected to the internet thing, that would make more sense is if Xbox would have like launched that with a saying, it's only you need to be always connected if you're playing your portables on it. Like you just need to have your system connected and then a wireless connection on your handheld to somehow communicate with each other. As far as handheld peripherals go, we all really know that the Game Gear is what everyone was trying to shoot for in the beginning. The Game Gear is, I think that what's most reminiscent about this Steam Deck is because I think it looks like a Game Gear. I do think it may have a little bit better processing than a Game Gear, but the negative side of it is that it doesn't run on D batteries. So take with that as you will. If you want to carry around giant batteries and play for about an hour, half hour, then go Game Gear. But the Steam Deck is definitely a bit of a step up or a downgrade, depending on what you're looking at for it. But
I guess my main concern about it at this point is that Steam or Valve has a kind of iffy track record on following up on things.
Yes.
What was it? The Steam
was it a console?
The Steam controller came out, ran into a bunch of problems, and then they sort of just discontinued it and forgot about it. I still like it, but that's I'm in the very small minority of people. They did the Steam console, which was supposed to be like a set-top box. You put it next to your TV and it plays your computer games. It turned out to not really have any first-party components. It was just sort of a brand to put on gaming computers. Again, fizzled out, didn't go anywhere. The Steam Link is essentially just a fancy, like HDMI send from your computer to your TV, like so that you can just stream games from your computer onto your TV, and it works fine. But it doesn't really, you don't need it. So I guess I'm kind of concerned that.
No, I was just saying that's like you don't need it, but
Yeah.
you can. I mean, but it's like, do you want it? Because you can have this for someone who's gaming centric. This may be a good purchase. Like, I think instead of like getting like a kid maybe like a small gaming PC or something, this could be a cool first like handheld. You can mess around with it and like learn how to play other games and have it be portably viable, because there's so many the options of PC games is what really strikes me, is because like the library of what you can play on this is just so massive. Again, it's kind of like how the new Xbox kind of like launched their stuff. It's like all of our other stuff is backwards compatible. All of our other stuff is backwards compatible now. It's like there's many more Xbox 360 games you can play, other Xbox One games you can play on it. There's a lot that the back catalog and the upgrades to the back catalog on a machine.
I just don't usually want to play my PC game on a portable device. Like if I'm playing some first-person shooter, I would not want to be sitting on my couch just looking at a small monitor with a controller and panic yelling, "Oh, I can't aim it." But I want to sit in my room with a mouse and keyboard and just look at a relatively bigger monitor. That's my problem.
I understand that
with a PC based. My biggest problem against a PC based portable console is I don't want to play those games on a portable device, but I want to just play them on PC instead. If I'm to play the indie games, then why do I spend like $400 to buy a device just to play indie games other than just,
Well, I mean, but apparently this thing runs Crysis, so I think that's
and Control as well.
Yeah, and Control, and I'm pretty sure you can run the original Doom on it as well, or maybe just on the infrared sensor. But there's,
I mean,
they
like
can't
these
honestly.
days, my toaster can run Crysis.
Yes, but like, I do have to say, well, and so can my smart fridge, but but like I think that truthfully, I think this is a really cool novelty, and I do think that I wish them the best, because I like the idea of handhelds with a lot of power and game options. I love that idea, but I just have a feeling that this is going to be relegated to a corner with the NVIDIA handheld and other different handhelds in the future, with a special corner in our museum.
Yeah, there'll definitely be a collectible items. Maybe 30 years later, people say, "Hey, they used to make this stuff," and you can just take it out.
I mean, in 30 years from now, you'll remember it, and then you'll pick it up for $1,000, and then it'll be like, "Oh, wait, this is why I didn't buy it for $400 originally." But I mean, I think it may be a nostalgic thing. We'll see what goes on. I mean,
we'll have to start prepping the museum for the Steam exhibit.
We're gonna be rich.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what goes on. It's gonna be the amount of things that
I wish the best for this success.
Does the museum have a Steam console somewhere in it?
I think we have like the Alienware version of the Steam box.
Yeah,
we have a couple different like nooks that we use to display different things, but there's a big thing about like a lot of the Steam consoles is because they're Steam and Valve doesn't make, I mean, they made Half-Life Alyx, but they didn't make, other than that recently, they're working on like peripherals and other beefy different things. Their ideas of what should be and what they want to push and show people their vision for the future is very weird. I mean, it's very steampunk, but I know it's bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I get it now.
If you're still listening, The Steam console is, I don't know. I'm just like looking at it. I like the idea, but I don't think it's going to be anything major in the future. Also, at the price point too, I mean, you can buy upgradable like SD storage, so you can buy a micro SD card and have it be up to like 500 more gigs and store it that way. So that's very cool. But also, if you only the 2 upper levels of this Steam Deck are going to have NVMe storage available. So, but like again, to make it more like a PC, you're going to be able to have those in the future. So my question is also, if like you can plug this into a TV port, can you just plug this in and have it be the controller directly from the handheld? I think that will be, I mean, that would be similar to the Switch. I mean, they have like third-party connectors that act not as the Switch dock. It doesn't act as like a full dock. It's a cable that you can just plug in and you can just plug it in.
I mean, you can just pull out
around.
You can just use the Joy-Con to connect with your PC because it's just Bluetooth.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So you don't have to plug your whole Switch in it. But for the deck, I'm not sure, but I can see someone would like to do it if they really like the controller.
Yeah. But again, my big thing of it is like, if you're going to be streaming, and the battery life seems very wimpy, because for a game that's like a portable thing, you want to have it. It says they're advertising 2 to 8 hours, so 2 hours of like intensive gaming on it. But even then, that's to have a battery to come out and charge it again. That's very different. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I wish it the best.
I remember those days using PSP. We just pull out the battery and replace a new one, and you don't have to charge it. You just have a spare battery, and everything is easy to assemble. And you just put a new battery. Boom! You can play it again. And
I loved that ability. The PSP was my favorite handheld system. I really, really wish that they would. I wish there was more games that I was interested in to play, or like, I mean, they used to release games on old like Nintendo games or Nickelodeon property games, all the old cartoon games. It's like, play it on every console, every handheld, play it on DS, play it on Switch, play it on PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, play it on everything. So I think the Steam console is actually going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how people pull it apart and upgrade it to make it do other things. Because I think people are going to also just be trying to tweak it, upgrade the battery life, upgrade the screen maybe too. Because like a 7-inch screen is okay. That's kind of what we're operating on with the Switch. But I just don't think it's going to be... It's not going to be a huge hit. It's not going to be a console killer. I don't think it's going to put a ton of dents into the Switch's sales.
No.
I mean, it didn't.
I mean, they're after different markets. They're not even really in the same ballpark.
True. It's also pretty hard to it's Nintendo's proprietary. I mean, another thing that this also has over the Switch is a browser built in. So at least you can browse the internet a little bit better.
Well, hey, on the Wii U, you could watch Netflix.
Really?
Finally. Yeah, you can watch Netflix on the Wii U.
Wow, they're really dedicated.
Not on the Wii.
On developing a Netflix.
Yeah. No, the Wii also had the Netflix app.
Oh.
I think.
When did they have it? I mean, I think Netflix was boom after the Wii U has gone. Is it?
It was late in the Wii's life cycle, but I remember having a Netflix app on my Wii.
Wow.
Yes.
That's actually...
I love how that's like the amazing point that we're all blown away by, is that Nintendo allowed you to watch streaming services on their console.
It was really cool. I never used it, but I was really like impressed that was a thing.
That's actually impressive.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Nintendo games are what draw people to their consoles. There's a lot of Nintendo titles They have a level of whimsy and just fun that I don't think a lot of systems are able to really just grasp.
Well, I
There's so many games that are released on the Switch that are just fun.
I have a friend who always use Switch to watch YouTube. I know because every time I watch on my friend list, I saw him using YouTube while online.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there is some people who like to use it for streaming service.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I use it. I use it to watch YouTube as well. If I'm hanging out in bed and I'm just watching, like playing some games and I want a break, I'm just gonna put it on, and because it's a bigger screen than my phone. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like handheld, but it's still bigger than your phone screen. You can actually see people's pores. The sound is I wish they would have upgraded speakers in it, or I wish that would be part of the. Is that part of the new?
I think so.
Switch screen.
Yeah, I think so.
They said it has better speakers. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Does it have the same battery life or a longer battery life? Because that would be the other thing.
Not sure about that.
We'll see.
Not sure.
Not sure about that. We'll see once it's released and we can actually play it. But I do want to ask, what have y'all been playing recently? Because I've still just been playing with my Switch now. I've been playing a lot more Mario Kart just because of the portability, and I can bring it to places and we can have fun with people. But I also want to have like Super Smash Bros. Is another one that's just an amazingly fun portable game to play. But as far as like storyline goes, or like deep stories or hardcore online competitions, what has everybody been playing?
It's the gambling week in Final Fantasy XIV. So I have been staying in the so-called Las Vegas in Final Fantasy XIV for like the few days.
Oh, a game within a game.
Yeah.
There's a Las Vegas in there.
Yeah, there's a Las Vegas there. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just playing Jackpot and some other mini games, Chocobo Racing. I spend most of my time playing Mahjong, and yeah, and we're
that's one game that
we're all doing that just because later I think in September they will have a collaboration with Final Fantasy 15, which you can buy their car.
Ooh. Yeah.
You can buy the car.
I'm very familiar with that car.
As an in-game mount with the money of the so-called Las Vegas in the game. So everyone is grinding for.
Does that mod? Does it essentially just mod your mount?
You can just ride it. You can just ride a car with your friends, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah, that's why
I might have to get Final. Oh, that's right. They're sold out. They're sold out of the digital copies. What a bummer. I don't think I'm gonna be able to play anymore.
But don't worry about that. I think they're handling the problem. Just a few days ago, I saw
they're manufacturing more.
They actually
right
apologized for that. For too many players running into the game. They said, we apologize for not seeing that coming, and we'll fix this problem very soon. And then
I still think that's just funny. I'm sorry too many people play our game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we made a good game.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't too good.
Yeah. I love, honestly, I love the Final Fantasy world, and I really probably should get it if I enjoy it that much, just because it's just getting into the online games. It's just it's daunting to me because of the endless possibilities.
Just don't worry about it. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 is
just do it. Just don't worry about it.
It's a game designed. It's a game designed to be live and get in any time. You can just chill and do the stuff whenever you want to be.
Okay. Be whatever you want to be.
Yeah, it's
I like that.
It's a game designed very suitable for office people in Japan. So they always work for a long hours. So they do quite a
Okay.
lot of design just for those people. It's pretty flexible game time.
Okay. They should hire you as their salesman because I think you just got a new customer.
Every single Final Fantasy 14 player is a walking advertisement for the game itself, just because of the
Okay.
how the community of the game is.
I appreciate a good community when that, and honestly, when I was playing, I played a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online when it was first out with some friends of mine because I really love the Elder Scrolls universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a fun way to do it. But I also had friends that skipped all of the lore and dialogue stuff, which is what I like. And they were just like, no, you just got to do it and like beat the... I was like, no. This is the world. Immerse yourself. Don't just treat it as some sort of
you don't do that in 14.
Weird skin game.
In 14, people will wait until you finish all the necessary cutscenes. They'll stand there cheering for you if it is the first time you enter some dungeon, and no one will skip it. That's beautiful. And so, and one thing I want to ask about Final Fantasy 14 is how much of is it its own unique world, or does it include any like areas from previous Final Fantasy titles? They do pay respect to some of the previous game. Like sometimes you will see some bosses of the previous Final Fantasy game appears, but usually there's not a huge relation with the previous Final Fantasy game, and you can treat it as an amusement park of Final Fantasy, the whole series. And you will see some familiar faces, but you don't have to know them before to play the game. As you know, every single Final Fantasy game is their own kind. They are. The storytelling is also just one thing that's really amazing to me. Yep. They can tell a really amazing story in a really unique world, and Final Fantasy does it again. But also as I was playing Final Fantasy 15, which I still need to finish. The game it starts out like opening you up and allowing you to freely explore, but then as you move along, the world seems to just get smaller, in my opinion. But also playing it on my PC, which was way more powerful than the system it was initially built for. If I played this on PS4, I think I would have if I played this when it came out on PS4, I think I would have had a different experience. Because the loading times were longer on the PS4, and then the driving and allowing you to look around, that's much more take your time pacing. I thought it was really nice to play, but it definitely acted more as an active loading screen rather than something else. But you can still operate the shop and anything else you want from the car. So you were allowed to do other things while you were driving, but the pacing just seemed kind of off. They really wanted you to just spend time with the characters, which I thought was really cool. But interesting narrative choice. As far as other games, though, there's so many other games that now that I'm settled into my new apartment, or mostly there, I'm going to get more of a dive into these games and check out what I can. Really explore the possibilities of the Switch. Check out many indie games. I may even get into Splatoon. Oh, we'll that's actually a good time. We'll see. If you
would you recommend the first one or the second one?
Of course, the second one. The first one you can only play it on Wii U, I believe.
Oh,
and I think it's a pretty good time to get your hands on Splatoon for now, because there'll be a new one next year, and it's a good time to get used to it.
Okay. All right. But again, just so many Nintendo titles just have so much fun centered around them. It's just fun to play. It's just fun. They just released a 51 game pack of all the house game, dice and dominoes and cards, and it'll be interesting to just buy a $400 console just to play cards and Yahtzee in one device.
Totally.
That's the game that sold me on the Switch, you guys. It's all like Yahtzee and Sorry. That's what I wanted to play on the Switch. Makes it really interactive and fun. I think we may have to dust off a shelf in the museum for this in about 10 years. We'll see how it goes. But we have the NVIDIA handheld. There's also, being at the museum, there is so many just handheld peripheral consoles that people have released that are you probably have never even heard of. It's a marvel. And soon enough, with all your support that you've been giving us, we'll be able to open our doors again and allow you to experience and play some pretty amazing games. So everybody stay safe. We'll see how the rest of this year goes. But until then, we want to thank you for listening to the Museum of Art and Digital Entertainment's official podcast. If you have any thoughts, questions, corrections, or general museum ideas, please shoot us an email at info@themade.org.
We'd like to send out a big thank you to everyone who donated recently and to our patron supporters who keep the Made afloat. Patron donors get to listen to this podcast 1 week before it's released on major streaming services, and we continue that with future episodes every week. Till then, I'm Chun.
I'm Miles.
I'm Red.
And I'm Anthony. Thanks. We'll see you next time.